So we're ready.
People are probably having trouble signing on because of the error with the website. All right, so Al, do you want me to share the agenda? What do you want me to do?
Yeah, we're gonna do two things. We're gonna show the agenda. Everybody can get a chance to look at it. We're not gonna go over it piece by piece. Give everybody about 5 minutes to look over the agenda. And then we'll do the same thing with the calendar. This way people can look at it rather than going over one date at a time. All the chair people are here. If they can make a decision whether they want the meeting on that date. If they wish to change it, they can voice it then. We have to cut these meetings down. They go entirely too long.
All right.
But just give
All right, so
everybody a chance to just look it over.
hold on.
Jeremy, put it
Hold on
back
one
up.
second. So just remember, it's May 18th, 2023. This is the Leadership Committee of Community Board 11 in the Bronx. It is 7:07 p.m. Let me share the agenda again real quick. Some minutes have been done, but they're not votable or to be voted on. I don't know if April was done. I have no idea. So then the May full board agenda, I'll pull that up unless there's anything else, Al. I'll pull the full board agenda up.
Absolutely.
But, not that. Sorry. Sorry, hold on. It was the minutes. Okay, can you see that?
All right, Jeremy, if you just,
Yeah.
We can
if you
see
just scroll it down slowly so everybody can read it.
All right.
Oh, just first thing is it's fully remote. It's on a Tuesday. It's not on a Thursday. We moved it because of the Jewish holiday. Also, it works out that we're going fully remote because the recording company can't be with us this month.
Okay.
So, Pledge of Allegiance gallery, chair report. There's 2 proposed bylaw amendments.
Jeremy, we can read it.
Yeah.
Just scroll down. So this way we don't have to go through every piece.
All right, tell me when you're ready. Serena, I know you don't have your meeting until after the full board, so I don't know if there's anything special you want to announce that you have the Y coming.
Yes, I'd like to have that written there, that the Y is coming. The executive director, Charlene Brown, from the Castle Hill Y,
Okay, I'll put the date of the meeting.
May 31st.
May 3rd.
And then number 2 would be the CB11 first annual Juneteenth cultural celebration and Father's Day cookout.
Ooh, Father's Day cookout. Nice.
And just say event,
Like that.
and you can say it publicly, exactly the details.
Say it now.
No, I'm saying I'll just put event and then you can say barbecue and all that stuff verbally, if that's all right.
CB11 first annual Juneteenth event. Okay.
And ideally, we'll have a flyer at some point we'll connect it to.
Yes, absolutely. We're working on that.
All right, and then these economic development motions, Chris told me.
Jeremy,
No,
one
just-
thing with you have committee report, but you don't say which committee, even though you have look at
Oh.
it, committee reports.
Yeah, okay. That's good point. So hold on, unless you voted on something, I put motions first and then everybody else after. Oops, that's not leadership. But thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Jeremy, Housing has a motion. So just letting you know.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot to check with your committee. Well, okay, so before we go there, we got economic development, 4 licenses. Do you guys vote on the cannabis stuff, Veronica, or whoever's in from that committee?
Yes, they voted it.
So
Objection.
voted,
Objection for the location.
Yeah, we're looking to get more information so we have more guidance on what we're supposed to be looking for when we're voting on the licenses itself. We voted objection to the actual location, but I'm gonna look into getting more information, hopefully getting somebody to come and do a presentation for us on what's gonna be required.
I already got some contacts, and I
Okay.
sent it to Joanne and Joe and Chris,
Okay, great.
so we'll work on that.
Thank you.
Motion to send written correspondence. Okay, I'll get that. OCM is they don't have their stuff together. I mean, you probably gathered that from last night, but it's probably worse than you realize. All right, so
Yeah, I know.
nominating elections committee. We still have nominations for treasurer, sergeant at arms, parks. I don't know. Oh, Jance is not in. I don't know if there's anybody from parks here. I believe there was a motion to object to site A but not B. Housing. What was the motion, Hazel? Or you want to just send it to me later?
I'll send it to you.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I couldn't find my glasses.
I know you're busy for getting ready for tomorrow.
I'll send it to you.
Okay. All right, so ethics and disciplinary complaints 102, 104, Yankee Stadium, Community Board 11 day at Yankee Stadium. So Chris is going to update the website, or I sent it to him. Hopefully that'll be done tomorrow. We will be distributing tickets. They are going to do on the field ceremony this year. Just a reminder that if you're a board member or a family member of a board member, you are not legally allowed to take tickets. Therefore, the staff will not be distributing tickets to any board members. If you're a member of a civic association, whether it's Morris Park, Bronx Park East Community Association, whatever, and you're a board member, send somebody else to get your tickets. Right now, we're currently reserving 4 per organization. Yeah, as soon as we update the website, there is a request form on our website. I mean, you can use it now. I think it still has the old information from 2 years ago or something. But yes, you can send out a request form on our website.
Jeremy, just note that I am going to be attending the game with the kids.
Yeah, the only one that's legally allowed to attend is Phyllis as chair of the education committee. She'll be as long as they're part of the on-field ceremony, you're legally allowed to attend. But the New York Yankees are only allowing 1 board member. That would be Phyllis this year. So anything else I'm missing for committee reports?
No, I hope that Cynthia sent you the minutes from our meeting from the Health and Social Services.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if maybe
I
she
know-
sent them. I don't. You didn't have any motions,
no,
though,
actually,
right?
I didn't take minutes at that meeting, but I can go back
Oh, I
and
had
put
it.
something
Okay.
together. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know it was supposed to be me.
I asked you
Okay.
and you, yes, okay.
I don't remember. That's okay. I'll put something together. No worries.
So I'll do a motion for this. Hazel will send me her motion. Anything else for the full board? I don't know if there's any gallery session speakers here tonight that want to speak in the gallery. Let us know now. Kevin wants to speak in the gallery. I'm not saying for leadership, I'm saying for the full board, but Al, do you want to, unless there's anything else for the full board agenda, I guess we can move on. We can go to the gallery.
Jeremy, at sanitation, we talked about the alternate side street parking. There was, I believe there's supposed to be like a public hearing.
Thank you,
Yeah, it's been brought up before, but I've reached out to you outside of these meetings about it. So,
Well, We made a motion at the
Okay.
meeting to have a public hearing. So I don't know where
Okay.
that goes, if it goes on the agenda now.
Well, that's gonna go,
later.
oh, I'm sorry, Al, we gotta do the calendar next. So
Right.
we can do that.
If there's no objection to the agenda, we'll move on to the calendar.
Wouldn't that be on the agenda for sanitation and environmental protection?
Yeah, I mean, I can put that there. Just putting housing in the right spot. So, yeah, I mean, you don't, so. Do you have a date in mind yet or no?
Either at the transportation meeting or at the sanitation meeting, whichever one works out best for everyone else and for the Department of Transportation.
Yeah, I think it would make sense to do it at your committee or within your committee, since it's your
Mhm.
committee that's wanting this, right?
Yep.
Yes, I'm here, Jeremy, yes.
Okay, all right. So then we go on alternate side. Anything specific about alternate side that everybody should be aware of?
I'm saying both additions and reductions, because both of those issues have come up in previous meetings.
All right, I'll play with the wording restriction. Okay. All right. Anything else, Al? I can close this.
That's it. We can go on to the calendar. If you just put the calendar up and let all the, if all the chair people take a look at the calendar and see if there's any changes you'd like made in it, please let us know.
And Jeremy, this is Naomi. I need to speak before the gallery because Kevin is going to speak to what I'm going to present.
So do you want to talk in terms of present at your committee meeting or for the full board or both?
No, I'm supposed to bring the results to the leadership committee so
Yeah,
that we
okay.
can make sure that what should be said to the full board to vote on.
Okay. So then why don't we get into that now? Because that's regarding possibly the full board agenda, right?
Yeah. So, hello, everyone. I'm Naomi Pemberton. I'm the chair of the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. And I just want to say first, please bear with us as we're trying to make the process very efficient. And there's some changes that happen that that may occur as a result of the process. So do not feel offended. Do not feel upset. It's just that we're trying to make this as efficient as possible so that we can process complaints accurately and as to the best of our ability. Okay. So for case 102, which I presented at the full board last month, the committee was in favor of 102. We were in favor of that complaint, and we were in favor of the recommendation, which is the apology. Due to the fact Kevin Diola has also made a complaint, which was similar in statute. So I emailed him and asked him if we could add his complaint to case 102, which is regarding the September 2022 incident. And he wanted me to read his recommendations out. So I'm going to do that now. So the recommendation for case 102 was an apology from the board, which we were in favor of. And Kevin's requests or recommendations are the following. Number one, at least a written reprimand for allowing a breach of code of conduct or temporary suspension of voting, motioning privileges until a full retaining course is conducted by the Borough President's Office, Al, and the full board. Number two, at least a letter directed to myself admitting the hearing was allowed to breach the code of conduct of BXCB 11 and apologizing for breach from Al and from the full board. Three, add at least a letter directed to the public and read at the full board meeting, admitting the hearing was allowed to breach the code of conduct of BXCB 11 and Al and the full board. The current board chairperson could take this responsibility. So just understand, I just want to reiterate that the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee is a recommending body. So we are just saying, we're basically taking the complaints, we hear the complaints, we vote on the complaints, and we bring that information that we agree to the leadership committee. And then us as the leadership committee will make a decision of what is the final language that we're going to vote on at the full board. So, in the case of 102 and 104, we were in favor of this. So what you guys would do would vote on the recommendations. If you're not in favor of it, you're not in favor of it. If you are in favor of it, you are in favor. But as a result of that vote, that is what will go to the full board. Are there any
Naomi,
questions? I see hands up.
Naomi,
Go
just
ahead.
for clarification, what we voted on at the committee was to send a letter of apology from the board to the attendees and to the Just Home people that were there. It wasn't directly from anyone. It wasn't admitting that there was a breach of code of conduct. It was just an apology for how the meeting turned out and basically that it was a little out of control. That's what we agreed on. We didn't discuss Kevin's basically his what he wants done. Those
Right.
weren't
Well,
actually discussed.
the agreement that I made with him so that we can consolidate the cases, because it doesn't make sense to have two hearings for the same similar case, right? Because we're just going to make a decision, and then we're going to hear his case, and then decision or not hear his case, because we would probably have to close it because we made a decision on it already. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So the
It kind
agreement
of
was,
does, but he's asking for something a little different than what we had already agreed upon for the first one. So I'm not sure
Right.
if that,
no, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that we'll vote on it, and if they don't want that to, remember, the full board is the final say. So we can vote on it here on these 4 items, and then the final of the 2 cases of what's recommended will go to the full board. Because
okay.
remember, we're just doing a recommendation. The full board could say, I don't agree, period. It could be a landslide. I don't want to do this.
Just can I
Right.
clarify? The complaint was against me. It wasn't against the board. It was against me. And as I said, at the time, I was not there. It wasn't my meeting. It had nothing to do with the meeting, except I was there as a member. The way what you're saying, should there be an apology? Absolutely. Because of the fact that it was an unruly crowd. But to blame somebody for the crowd being unruly, I think is unjust.
Excuse me, but my complaint was against the full board.
I'm sorry, Diana.
against-
So Diana, hold on.
Sorry.
We'll come to the gallery, Diana. Just wait, please.
But please don't vote on this before you come to the
Okay, well-
gallery, because what Al said is
Wait.
untrue.
No, we're not going out
You're
of
not
control.
ready for.
Not gonna go out of control.
ready
Wait, stop.
for the
This
gallery.
is my time. This is my time. We're not going out of control. I am presenting what I stated I would present based on the ethics committee. I'm presenting what I stated I would present. I'm presenting the results. I'm explaining that I'm adding 2 cases together because they're similar in statute. Okay? I asked Jeremy for me to interrupt the meeting so I can speak before the gallery session. So individuals can speak what they want to speak. Okay? Okay. We're not going to get out of control. Okay? So I am just doing as I stated. Like I said, we are the committee, this leadership committee can do, can make recommendations, they can amend, they can do whatever they would like to do. We are a recommending body. I'm going to say it again. The Ethics and Disciplinary Committee is a recommending body. Okay.
I have
All
a
right.
question, Naomi.
Yes.
Have you consulted the BP's office or the city law department to see about if they think that's prudent? If there are there any legal ramifications to issuing an apology?
I did not look into any legal ramifications for issuing an apology. As I said, I'm a recommending body. This is what we voted on that we feel we should do. Okay? Which is the apology. That's what we voted on. But like I said, I have made an agreement with Kevin to also allow his recommendations to be voted on tonight alongside with this complaint. So I did not go to any legal entities to find out if we issue a complaint, if we issue an apology, will there be issues with that? I can do that before the full board meeting.
Yeah, just put it out there because I know
No,
they
I
finished-
understand.
Yeah.
Not being a stickler for rules and regulations, but that vote was taken basically in private. It's supposed to be a public vote and it wasn't done publicly. From my
What do you
knowledge,
mean,
unless I'm
Al? Because I
mistaken.
publicly,
In other words,
I publicly
ethics-
posted the vote.
the
I
ethics
publicly
committee,
posted.
the ethics committee met and they voted basically in private.
Right, but
I think that vote is
Al?
supposed to be public. That's all.
Al, okay, you're incorrect. Al, I have my process stating it's an e-vote, electronic vote, and I publicly put it out. What the results were.
Okay, then I said
Nothing
correct.
wrong- There's nothing wrong with what I did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jeremy, do you know if there is an issue with us having the e-votes?
That's what we do. That's what we do with the ballots for the elections. I mean, we're still under
And
we're still under a state of emergency too. officially.
Also, I would like to add, this was agreed to by the full board. My process. Thank you.
I agree, Naomi. I just want to make sure that we're
No,
doing
no,
what we're supposed to be doing.
No, I hear you, Veronica. I'm just stating, that that's also a fact.
Thank you.
Yeah, I understand, Veronica. Thanks.
Should we go through, Naomi, you want to go through the hands raised or?
No. Well, hold on.
Jeremy,
That's for the gallery. Some of it. Hazel's
That's
a
okay.
member of the committee. Hazel.
Hi, Naomi, I'm so sorry that I haven't been able to get back to you. It's been very busy at my office, but I was just a little confused, and I know that you tried to clarify for me. Apparently I was named in one of those complaints, and nobody ever told me that I was.
Okay.
And I think it was the second one. So now you're combining both of them together. But I never got a chance to defend myself because I didn't know that my name was involved in this.
Well, the thing is, Hazel, I understand what you're saying, but do you need to defend yourself on the incident? Because the committee, as I said, we're a recommending body. The committee agreed that we should do an apology. We agreed with the complaint and that we should do an apology on this event, the incident that happened. So I don't know if you want to do another hearing, because if we decide today to apologize or the full board decides to apologize, do you want to be involved in another hearing on the same case? Because I wouldn't be able to hear your case because we already
to be
decided.
honest with you, I really don't. I don't have the time, and
you understand what I'm saying? So it's
but I don't.
You're not named. You're not named as the person to apologize.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The agreement was the full
board. Okay.
Right.
All right.
So, and then with Kevin's part that he's adding on today, we're voting on that, but it doesn't have, you know what I'm saying? It's up to us how we want to present it.
Okay. I got you. Thank you.
Even this whole package, it's just, it all depends on what we say all here today.
Okay.
So Naomi, basically, it's that the board apologized for the basically unruly behavior of the crowd, not being able to control but no one person in particular is to blame?
Well, like I said, Kevin has additional items that I read out. The leadership committee can vote and amend them, change them. Remember, we're a recommending body. So other people in this committee could have other ideas on what's been requested. We have that, we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to amend this or change it or not agree with it.
No, I agree with the apology. My problem is that my name is associated with it. In other words, I was the one at fault. That I take issue with.
Okay. And I understand what you're saying, Al, but the leadership committee can amend it where we're saying the board is going to apologize. Right? You
That's
understand what I'm
fine.
saying, Al?
I agree. I think the board should apologize.
Okay.
I think it was, people were,
Okay.
were treated rudely.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Just, we're just making the recommendation. So we as a leadership committee can say, well, I don't agree with that and we want to amend whatever is going on. That's up to the committee. I don't want, like I said, we're just making a recommendation.
Just a reminder, anybody who's involved in either one of these two complaints is not able to vote on it. So please make sure that you recuse yourself before that.
Wait a minute, Veronica. I spoke to the conflicts of interest committee. Conflict of interest, New York City's conflict of interest board today. I spoke to an attorney and she said that if you're a committee member or a community board member, you can vote because there's no private investment in it. Meaning, like, if I vote for Al, if I vote against Al, and somebody is giving me a car, or somebody's giving me money, or somebody's giving me a promotion, that's where the conflict of interest is.
I don't
have
that
any
doesn't make sense.
Well, I spoke to the lawyer today, so we can pause on that. Maybe we should pause on that because I spoke to the lawyer today and I was very detailed about what was going on. I explained to her our process, that we have a complaint process, we have a form, we fill out this form, and people from the committee are on this form, are making complaints. Can they vote on these complaints? And she said there's no conflict of interest and it would not go through her office at all. She said it has to be a private investment. So your job, you're going to get a car, you're going to get a better apartment, because we are not a legal entity, we're a community board. She said this has nothing to do with anything.
I think we should hold off on doing a vote because that doesn't sound right to me. I handle a lot of different complaints and stuff in the job that I do. And sometimes it's against some of the employees. Those employees are not allowed to make any kind of decision or vote on it because it has to do with them personally. So these complaints have to do with, like, just say Al's complaint.
I apologize for interrupting, but remember what you just said, employees have a private investment. That's their job.
But doesn't, like, say Al have a private investment because the complaint is against him and the decision would be something that would... He can vote on his case.
She said he can vote on his case. He can vote on his case. We can all vote on the case because there's no private investment. There's no, like, I'm not going to lose my job if I vote on this case and it's not compliant with what people feel. I'm not gonna not get a promotion, or I'm not gonna get the house I want. I'm gonna get, there's no private investment because it's a board of members.
The motion would be then to for the board to send a letter of apology to those people who were rudely treated. Is that it? That's fine.
Yeah, we could vote on that. That's what I'm saying.
That's fine. That makes it simple. As long as I'm not, in other words, in the beginning, the blame was going to be on me, and that I won't. That I can't live with.
Al, did I say that?
No, you didn't. But that's the way the ethics committee went when we discussing it.
Okay.
Yes, can I make a recommendation at this point? even though the Conflict of Interest Board basically, sets its decisions on different rules, etc., Community Board 11 still has policy and procedure. And one of the things I would like to recommend, because this is an unusual case where I think that as a democracy that we should put this vote to a full board vote to see how many of the board members would agree that that if the person that the complaint was against, etc., should still have an opportunity to vote. It's almost like saying, well, are you the jury or the prosecutor? It doesn't, it's my opinion. And my opinion shouldn't be dead set rule. And I don't want to rule that way. But I think that there should be a full board vote with a decision like this, because I would be curious to see how the board would want to handle this, the board members. So I don't know if we should table that until the full board meeting and have a full board vote. So I don't know if we need to take a vote here in leadership on that, because it is an unusual situation. It's one that I don't think in many of my years have come across to even have a past experience, but I would think that many people might have a difference of opinion, and we should probably get a vote on that.
Okay.
So.
Can I just finish?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Go ahead, Naomi.
Let me just finish. So because I'm trying to be as transparent. So case 105, we're not moving forward from my side because the committee voted that we're saying we don't agree with the complaint. So I just want to make that clear. So because if anybody has any issues with that or concerns, or they want to bring it to the full board, I just want to put that out there. Okay. So I didn't add 105 to it because we said no. The majority said no. Okay. So if there's any questions about that, please let me know. Okay. I think that's it for me. Okay. So, and I think some members want to talk. I saw some hands. So
Phyllis,
just want to let you know, Jeremy. Okay. I'm shutting up now. Thank you.
Just remember, unless you're a member of the committee, you're part of the gallery tonight. Go ahead, Phyllis.
Naomi, I just want to clarify. Are we voting on the full board apologizing or Al apologizing? Because if we're not voting on Al apologizing, then he should be able to vote. If it's the full board apologizing, I don't see what the issue is.
Well, it doesn't matter either way. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say to you.
I
doesn't
agree.
matter.
Yeah.
So he can vote for himself and say it's not his fault. You good. I don't, but
Okay,
like I
thank you.
said, yeah, no problem.
Also, I think Malcolm is legally entitled to speak because he is a member of the committee, even though the vote will take precedence for Serena. So Malcolm, I see your hand up.
Just clarification, Naomi, the whatever vote or that comes out of the ethics committee, it's just a recommendation, correct?
That's correct.
All right. So there's no legal binding to that at all.
No.
Okay.
We're just making recommend because the full board is the force. They're the boss. Okay. We all come together and the full board has to execute and say, we as a body move this way.
So regardless, if leadership votes to write the letter, it still has to come to the full board to say, yeah, we're sending it out.
Exactly.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, my question of legal repercussions is obviously if the full board votes on it, right? Because then it's final.
It's final, but like you said, I mean, if there's some legal issue, like I said, I'll try to find that out if I can work with you, Jeremy, to
Yeah, I mean, I can explain why I pose that, but I
totally understand why you pose that. I totally understand. Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe not.
No, I do.
I don't think there's any problem with an apology being issued by the board. Anybody who was there that night knows that the crowd was unruly and completely out of hand. And you know, people that weren't allowed to speak or were booed down or shouted down absolutely deserve an apology. I don't see a problem with that at all.
Yeah, well, I think it's always good to check to make sure that there's no legalities towards us, you know. I always think it's always good to check. That's why I
Yeah,
checked
I mean,
with the Conflicts of Interest Board today, because I was like, I need to check.
I mean,
So,
whether or not I should bring this up, I mean, I'm still waiting for an apology. That's why I brought it up.
do you have I mean, was it voted on to give you apology?
No, there was a
Oh, okay.
EO complaint. But we
Oh,
can talk about that
okay.
later.
Okay. Okay, I think so. Let's talk about that later. Okay. Any other questions from the committee?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Good evening, everyone. I just have my question is, I'm sure we have a tally, or I'm assuming, of the board members that attended this meeting. I did not. And so I'm not comfortable agreeing to an apology from the entire board as a governing body, or, you know, because I was not there, and I'm interested in knowing how many of us were there so that, you know, we can then be able to better determine if it's going to be something that we're fully going to be responsible for.
Well, I know I was there as a teacher, not as a community board member.
And I was there as a member of the public.
Okay, so just remember, you're a community board member. And so, as I said, if the full board feels that we should be writing a letter, maybe they don't, I don't know. But if it's just like anything else that we vote on and decide on, we are saying as a board, if the majority votes this way, this is what we're going to do. You can, if you want to, at that voting, you can recuse yourself, you can abstain, and it'll be public record. So just, you know, it's up to you.
Sorry.
I see Serena and Malcolm's hand up.
No, I'll drop my hand. But is there any way to get a tally of the board members that were there as board members that day during the public hearing?
I mean, I can tell you right now, there are 9 members of our board that were at that meeting. And I can tell you their names if necessary.
No, just the tally was fine, just to see how many, you know, actual CB members that were there representing CB 11 were there that day, because the letter is calling for an apology from the entire board. So, thank you.
Yeah, whether they want to say they were representing the board, I that's debatable, but I know there were 9 members.
Some of us were not there as board members. We were there representing other organizations in the community.
Right. But like I said, you can recuse yourself or abstain from voting, and that will be public record.
Hello? Can I speak?
Yes.
All right. So I need a little bit of clarification on certain things, right? Jeremy earlier in this meeting said that, for example, the Yankee tickets, right? That if a board member was a part of, let's say, Van Ness Association, right? That board member would not be able to accept that ticket because it's a conflict, correct? Am I correct there, Jeremy?
There's a monetary value attached to the tickets.
Okay. Now, is there anything in whether it's I know it's not in our bylaws, but like in a city charter or any type of governance, which says that board members are able to switch off to different hats that they hold at certain events? Does that exist?
That's a good question.
Because if you are at a board function and you are a board member, like, are you able to switch off and say, I'm a private citizen at this point? Or are you still a public servant?
Yeah, that's why I was saying that no matter what, we're full board. But like I said, I don't want people to feel, you know, if they feel they're not a part of something, they should be able to vote publicly and say, I abstain. I recuse myself.
Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying, Jeremy? Is there something like that? Is there precedence for
The
that?
committee meeting, it was,
Yeah.
it was
yeah, but
strictly by committee. So if you're not on that committee and you were there attending I mean, I stated as soon as I started speaking that I am a teacher in the community.
mhm. No, I get that. I get that. But I just want to know the clarification as a sense, like, you know, how is that viewed from the city charter's eyes?
I don't think the charter will speak to this. I know
Yeah.
when John Johnson was ethics chair, the way he was, well, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't bring him up because he's no longer a board member, but I know his idea was that, you know, we end the two hats thing. I mean,
Mhm.
like, or I don't know, because it's obviously problematic.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't remember anything in the bylaws. I don't know if Dave is on the phone, but I don't remember anything regarding that.
I'd like to just bring up the different, like just another example. There are many people that are even on the Civic Association executive boards that are actually part of, that sit on the boards of health and hospitals, different charities, etc. So there are many times when you do have to clarify why you are there. I know for myself, whenever I speak, I always say I am speaking as a person, as a member of the public, not as any private entity or any, I have to clarify that because for me specifically, I do wear many hats. So it's something that, while there might not be something in writing, there are many people who sit on many different boards and have many different hats. Whether it's stated or not, it's up to the person responsible to know that when they are there, that they need to clarify that. So it is something that maybe is it is up to the responsibility of the person. So whether it's written down or not, it's not something that I think that you are going to be able to get out of that gray area. It's the responsibility of the person to know the many hats that they wear, and when they are going somewhere, who are they, how they are speaking and representing.
Interesting. Jeremy, is there a way to like, is there like a certain hotline to call? Like, I don't know, is someone that we can speak to clarify certain points of the city charter for this stuff?
So
I mean,
Naomi talked about the conflicts of interest board earlier.
right.
But again, in my experience, unless there's a monetary interest, they don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had this
And
issue
when I was
we've had
Yeah,
this
sorry.
issue when another member of the board was the president of the Morris Park Community Association, not Al. There was concerns that he was going around soliciting funds for, I think, the parade, but because he wasn't doing it for his own personal pocket, that it wasn't an issue. I think.
Yeah. Exactly. That's and my research as well, that's what I'm reading or seeing. So when I was even developing the ethics protocol, it's like monetary or a job, or which is monetary, but something of self-interest.
Yeah, Naomi's
Thank you, Naomi. I think we can move on, Jeremy.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Shall we go on to the gallery? Is that it for well, no, we gotta do calendar, right? Did we do calendar yet?
No, you didn't.
All right, sorry, bear with me. And open it. Yes, that's May. I sent out the June calendar. I know I've been bothering some of you about it. So unless there's any issues, like Al said, you can read it.
Jeremy, I just have a question.
Yeah.
I am trying to get a speaker for the 13th. So
Yeah.
far, I have not heard from my contact at Jacoby. So I may have to cancel.
Well, or we could
But
try. Who'd you speak to?
I'm speaking, John Doyle.
Okay.
I wanted to get a guest speaker to come in.
I can try calling him tomorrow if you want.
Well, I mean, I have the ball rolling and we've been in contact and he says, he's trying to find someone, so
Okay.
hope, I
So-
don't
so
think
he's
you need to
working on it,
bother
okay.
him.
All right, so let's touch base
We'll
next
leave
week.
it in, okay.
Excuse me,
Alright.
Jeremy. Sandy, if you have any problem, give me a call and I'll get whoever you need.
Well, hopefully, all right, I'll wait another few days and we'll see what happens.
Jeremy, change the time for economic development. It was decided at the Economic Development Committee. Instead of 7:30, it's gonna be 7 PM.
So I know the precinct council meeting normally is the 27th. I don't know if that's going to be an issue at all, Serena. That's something to be aware of.
I know, wait, just scroll, so it's also on the 27th as well? So then,
Well, then again, I could be wrong. Phyllis, do you know
Yes,
if
it's
the
the
June?
27th. It's always the last Tuesday of the month.
So then we'll do the 28th. Like we'll have to do the 28th. Malcolm, are you available that day? Christine, are you available that day?
So the 28th of next month.
Yes, of June.
Give me 1 second.
Let me check my calendar, Serena.
Sure.
And if we can make that, if that consistently works for everybody, that's would be good too. Like
The
the
28th.
last Wednesday or the 4th or 5th Wednesday, one of the two. Right, 4th.
Yeah, as of now, yeah, I'm free.
7:30, right?
1 second, I'm waiting for, we're waiting for Christine,
Okay.
if you don't mind. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I just meant the time.
Yes.
Yeah. So far I'm clear as well, Serena.
Would 7 o'clock be better? I think 7 is probably best.
That works for me.
Welcome. Good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good there.
Perfect. Thank you, Jeremy. We're all set.
And then consistently, maybe the 4th or 3rd or that Wednesday, because you've been meeting every Wednesday, right?
We've been trying to meet at the end of the month, yes, so I don't, it really just depends, but yes, if you need an answer right now, then we can do the 4th Wednesday of the month.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it changes, if we have to change it, but just so it's easier going forward. Okay, so I'll put that in. I'll just leave that alone for now. Anything else, Al, for June?
That's fine if there's no other changes. And if there is a change, let's call it in.
Good. All right.
Diana, yes, June 8th is the Yankee game. That's the date the Yankees give us. We have no choice in that, so.
Yeah. Well, it's not like anybody from the board can go to it legally anyway, so. Well, you know what? I should put it on here, right?
Hello?
Oh, that's the rabbi?
Hey, Rabbi.
That's me.
An echo. Yeah, are you on twice?
Could be.
I think he is.
Let me stop sharing. Did you call in as well, Rabbi, or no? You're just on.
It looks like twice.
I see him twice.
I see him twice.
Echo happens when you're
I'm gonna boot to a secondary one. Just stay where you are, Rabbi. Okay, you still with us, Rabbi?
I hear you.
Yep, there we go. All right. All right. So I'll put that on the calendar. I'll put the Yankee game. Bronx Community Board 11 day Yankee Stadium. Okay. Al, can we move it on to the gallery?
Sure. I think so, right?
So I think in the order, I think Jeanette had her hand up first, or it was Diana, one of the two, and then a slew of people kind of after that, whether it was Ms. Delgado or Kevin, or I think Mr. Press had his hand. I don't know if he's still in.
Yeah, Robert Press had his hand up at one point.
Yeah, and then Miguel, I think, after that. So I guess Jeanette or Diana first.
Yeah, 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, at least we'll do so. So remember, so this came up, I guess, yesterday. There was an issue with this. So we do 2 minutes in the beginning. If we have to go back, right? Well, there's the question and stuff, but at least let's do 2 minutes in the beginning. Go
Right.
around, make sure everybody gets their fair share, and then if we have more questions and comments, then we can go. But let's start with 2 minutes per person, right?
Jeremy, can Miguel go first? 'Cause I think he's on the committee, right?
No, he's not a member of this committee.
Oh.
You got to be a chair or co-chair of a committee.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Thank you.
So, Jeremy, do you have an order, or I'm just
So I remember, I'm pretty sure it was Jeanette and/or Diana who had their hands first. I think
Okay,
it was Jeanette, and then it was Diana. I don't know.
Okay, let's start with Jeanette. You know, I don't mind. Okay, Jeanette.
Okay, I'm going to clarify that I am a member of the Community Board 11. I also wear other titles. I'm on a Neighborhood Advisory Board and I'm the board president of my co-op. When I go to meetings, I at times have to clarify if I'm there just as a citizen or if I am representing one of those committees. That being said, I was not at the meeting where this situation took place. I now understand there were a number of board members that were there, some of whom may have been representing Community Board 11 and some that were representing either just themselves or other organizations. That being said, the recommendation seems to be for Community Board 11 to step up and apologize that things were not handled well by members who were there, who were potentially representing Community Board 11. And I think that that can be an appropriate way to handle things. However, it doesn't necessarily imply culpability on anyone's part. And it also, I do not believe, has anything to do with the Community Board 11's code of conduct, unless it was a Community Board 11 sponsored and run event. So I think that lines need to be clear so that we know not only how to handle these 2 situations, but how to handle other situations appropriately moving forward. And I think that there has to be a line if you're making a complaint against an individual or if you're making a complaint against an individual who represented the board, because that does make a decision as to how the follow-up should be handled. Thank you.
Good. Very good, Janet. Okay, Jeremy.
Pretty sure it's Diana.
Diane? Okay, Diane.
Okay, I have a lot. Sorry if it's not going to be 2 minutes.
Has
One
to be 2
question,
minutes.
are we also, is the leadership committee also and the full board also voting on the recommendation on case 104? And will the vote of the ethics committee, who voted which way, ever be made public? It seems to me that there is a case for those votes being kept private as the equivalent of an executive session discussing a sensitive matter, because I do feel that there is room for intimidation of certain points of view and certain members. I feel that I've been intimidated by people who are board members on social media outside of a board meeting context, but I think intimidation is a very real thing that we have to deal with. In my complaint, I specifically said and pointed to the time in the video where the board members who were present were introduced as board members. I agree that ones who spoke were careful to say before they spoke that they were speaking as a private citizen, but they were all seated in the front and introduced as board members. I think that in terms of the conflict of interest, you have to consider the appearance of a conflict of interest, not simply the legal, is this a conflict of interest involving financial remuneration? Remember that this was all being reported in the local press, in
30
on
seconds.
social media. I do believe that if you were named specifically in a complaint, you should recuse yourself from voting on even the recommendation. And I think that going forward, the board should consider whether it's appropriate for a person to be an officer of a community association and a board officer at the same time, or whether there's too much potential for conflict and favoritism in sharing those roles.
Okay, thank you, Nan.
So
Okay.
I did have a question. I did have questions in there.
Yeah, well, we can come back to you.
Right.
So unless somebody has wants to respond, that's a member of the committee. Either Delgado or Kevin, I think was next.
I think I think Delgado was next. Okay, Roxanne?
Thank you. Please, a 30-second warning, please.
Yes.
All right, during the vote, even when you go to executive session to discuss personal matters, you must still get vote out of executive session and vote in public. It states it clearly in the opens meeting law. You cannot create policy and procedure to override the New York State opens meeting law, which is a law that trumps any policy and rules that the committee board makes. So it's very important that, I don't know why the BP continues to fail to notify the staff and board members about the open meetings law. I will be, of course, making a complaint about this because this vote is invalidated because you had to done it with a quorum and in public view. You could have done it by paper vote, you could have done it by e-vote, but it had to be done in the meeting with a quorum in public view. So that's very important that you know these laws. And second, regarding the agenda, I really was disappointed with last month's meeting where things were put on the agenda after the fact, that actually circumstances public input and really people prepare in advance how to address issues that are being put on the agenda. One was the diversity committee. I personally don't think diversity committee helps diversity. In fact, the Harvard Business Review in March issue states diversity in corporations actually have undermined diversity and they have more issues of complaints of lack of inclusiveness. So I don't care if you could create 100 committees if you want, but I'd like to have input in things that are put in the agenda, but they're being put after the fact. I would really like, you know, how
30
you can
seconds.
how can you combat racism and reverse racism by following procedures. When you follow procedures, you combat racism or reverse racism. Thank you so much.
Okay,
The
thanks.
minutes are done. Bye.
Okay.
Is Chris still in the meeting? Chris Kirko?
Yes.
Hi,
he's here.
Chris. Hold on. Where do you sign? So I have a personal emergency going on right now at home. If you don't mind, I'm going to make you co-host. I might make you host, Chris. And when I can come back to this, I will. Sorry. So Chris, you're in charge, at least for staff. All right. Thanks.
Okay, and I believe Miguel was next, but he had his hand up for a while. Jeremy. I mean now Chris. Okay, Miguel.
Hi, so just a few things. I realize that, you know, in terms of wearing, you know, many hats, there's the law and the rules, and then there's what's right, you know, and so whether or not, I mean, I personally am going to recuse myself from voting on my case because I'm an ethical person. So I just think maybe a suggestion that people, you know, don't vote on their own stuff would be good. Secondly, the e-voting is public. It is out there. If you require it, you can contact any member of the ethics committee. And thirdly, happy Thursday.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Miguel, very good. Kevin, I believe you are next. Kevin?
Yeah, hi. I got a lot. I'm not going to make it to 2 minutes. Steph, give me that warning.
Yeah, I'll give you the minute, the
Yeah.
warning, but just try to make it. Thanks,
Yeah,
Kevin.
no, there's just too much happening in this meeting right now for me to
hear you.
respond to
I
it
hear
all.
you.
First
Okay.
thing I'm going to say is I reposted my 3 recommendations that Naomi read off before. Secondly, let me introduce myself. My name is Kevin Deloya. I am Mr. Anonymous, number 104, that Naomi mentioned by name earlier when she brought up the case. She spoke before me because she knew I was going to say something like what I just put down in the chat. And I really should have been the person to speak right after her before the calendar and all these other people. Anyway, I do want the board to take her recommendations that the incident happened. We all know it. We've seen it. We've heard about it for the past few months. I got a feeling that nothing's going to come out of tonight's meeting as far as what's going to be voted on at the full board. And I got a feeling at the full board, everything spoke about tonight is going to be regurgitated and there's going to be no vote. Also want to mention that the full board has the opportunity, as Naomi said, I don't have my hands waving, but to dismiss the case if they wanted to. Also realize if they can do that with her recommendations from the ethics committee, you can also increase the penalties for what happened that evening. You can make it individual, as my case was individual to Al and Mura. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name. And honestly, she was probably a pawn in the whole evening. So I kind of almost feel I do feel slightly bad about mentioning her, but it was her meeting, so she needed to be on the top of that complaint. The board should take
30
responsibility.
seconds.
The board should take responsibility for the board. I don't care if you were there or not there. The board should take responsibility for the board. The board called the meeting, the board held the meeting, and the board did not conduct the meeting according to procedures. That was my complaint. So I don't know what else to say. I also want to mention quickly, an apology is not an I'm sorry. It's an acknowledgement of the offenses and infraction, which should be part of those apologies. That's about all I have time for, probably.
No,
I'm glad I wasn't on
2
video.
minutes. Thank you.
But thank you very much.
Okay. I believe Ephraim was
Robert Press. He was
Robert
next.
Press. Okay, thank you,
I
Chris.
think Hazel wanted to
I
respond
will,
to that.
I will let Hazel go before me. Thank you.
Okay, Hazel want to respond to it. Okay, Hazel.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Thank you, guys. I just want to say that this, first of all, I am sorry this meeting even took place. I did not want this meeting to take place because we already had a meeting. And this meeting was pushed on me, pushed on the housing committee, and I had no choice but to chair this meeting, even though I was totally against it. And I do apologize for everything that happened that night. Everything that could have gone wrong in the public hearing went wrong that night. You know, people were walking up to me. I felt threatened myself, and we should apologize to everybody that deserves an apology. That's all I really have to say.
Thank you, Hazel. Okay. Chris, can I, is Ephraim next, Chris?
Robert Press.
Robert Press. Okay, Robert.
Yes, before I start, I was in front of a couple other people also, as you mentioned earlier in the meeting.
Sorry about that.
So let me start now. Chris, please tell Jeremy that I'd like to speak at the full board meeting. In the speaking time, the subject will be member absence. And can you ask him to send me a
I'm
copy?
back. Yeah, I got you, Bob. I
Okay,
got you.
can you please send me a copy of the attendance of the membership, since it was supposed to be announced at the April executive board meeting, which went into executive session, then into the leadership committee. And since there was no executive board meeting today, for some reason, I have no idea why. So please send me a copy of that, of the attendance of the board members, so I know which board members have been absent beyond the 3 meetings or 5 meetings. Okay, now I'm just going to echo what Ms. Delgado said. All votes, and as a former community board member, we always voted in public. All votes by a community board or a committee must be in public. And just as a district manager announced the vote of the vacancy for the chair of the board in public, the committee vote by the ethics committee must be made public. It has not been made public, and there are those of us in the public who would want to know, especially those of us in the media. Okay, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Just a point of clarification, if necessary, you can vote in private in executive session, but you have to then keep minutes for executive session. For what it's worth.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy.
And I'm sorry, but I have to correct Mr. Press. I did make the vote public at the last meeting, at the full board meeting. I explained everything. I gave you the percentages, everything.
The names have to be made public, how they voted. That's the rule.
Yeah, yeah, if you want to know who voted how, that does have to be made public somehow, or at least available for public inspection.
Okay, very good.
So yeah, I don't know if Naomi, you sent anything to me or anyone else in writing, but yeah, if he's requesting it, just send it to me and I'll send it to him.
Okay.
It should be in the minutes. I know Miguel's working on the minutes, but that's really where it should appear.
Okay. I believe Ephraim was next. I hope. Ephraim?
Hello, yes. I just want to reiterate that the public meetings law, and to avoid problems, I believe that this board, there should be meetings where all board members are you got to re-emphasize that, because things can get hairy, and look, ethics complaints, and I'm a delegate in a union, going through grievances, it can be very hairy, but you got to document everything while it's going. And then of course, anything that happens, it has to be documented. It is public even within those settings between management and union. But in the community, we cannot have hidden agendas. And so that's why that open meetings law, and I agree, it's something we have to stand by through thick and thin for the rest of our lives, no matter what we do on community boards or even people that attend. They need to know that. What I want to say about the way that Hazel Mura ran that public meeting, it was so hard to watch her get yelled at. It was not easy. I was sitting on the left side. I was very close to Jeremy. I didn't want to speak. After what I saw, I said, you know what, maybe it's not a good idea that I speak, because I filmed a lot of the meeting. And I tell you that I don't think anybody could have done anything better. And I want to also state that Al D'Angelo actually told the crowd that they have to behave. It wasn't like he was just sitting there and letting people be rowdy. It was a very tough meeting. And I think it's something that people should learn from. But even I saw Diana Finch egging the crowd on when she was standing up at the podium. It was strange. But I think we have to go back and look at that, because I don't believe that Al D'Angelo should be singled out for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ephraim.
Bernadette had her hand raised. She's a member of the committee. Go ahead, Bernadette.
Okay. Thank you. I just would like to, hindsight is 20/20 vision. And I'm in agreement with what Hazel had originally had said. This public hearing should not have happened. It should have been voted on no, because of everybody from the community, and I would say many, came to Maestros. They gave their opinion. They spoke, or they were able to verbalize. And to be quite honest, it wasn't going to change. But since the Housing Committee was asked to have this public hearing, I think we all have learned one thing, and I'm sure everybody will agree, that if a situation like this does happen again, the meeting gets closed down, shut down. That's it. Microphones off, gets adjourned, and everybody, please go to the exit. If anything should rise above the situation, the extreme, the emotional spiraling, that was obvious. And I think we have all learned. And I think when you're on the community board, it's experiences like this that give you a wider perspective. So that's just all I wanted to say. And one other thing is that I just wanted to point out with Diana Finch. Diana, you were also sitting in the front in the second row. So I just wanted to point that out.
So,
I
no-
came to the second row later on during the meeting.
Okay.
It's true.
Just for clarification, so everybody knows, the executive board meeting that was originally scheduled for 6 p.m. today didn't happen because we simply forgot to publish the agenda. There were, in terms of attendance, in terms of board members' attendance, you can look at the last page of the full board meeting minutes. We still have to publish April's, but we do have the attendance and we will get that up by Monday at the latest. Sorry, Hazel, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I just want to clarify one thing, and then I don't want to say anything more about it. But the housing committee was told to have this meeting. We did not ask for this meeting. Just so everybody knows, we were ordered to have this meeting. And when you're told to do something by somebody, you just have to do it. So it wasn't our idea. I just want to put that out there.
Okay, I think Miguel's had his hand up for a while.
Miguel and
I also have had my hand up.
Yeah, no, I know, but I think his was first.
And Miguel spoke. I don't know if it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I walked
away.
I'm
His
sorry.
hands back up again. I'm not sure. Ephraim, Miguel.
Christine has her hand up. Did she
Christine
speak
had
up?
her up first.
Yeah, Christine.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Christine is
Christine had
next.
a hand up. Christine, yes. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you, everybody. I just want to echo some of the sentiments that have already been expressed here, and that's about the apology. Should we or shouldn't we? And many people, and just this is my observation, many of the board members that were there that night, no matter what capacity they were there in, have since that meeting have said that they agree that the meeting was out of control. This is quite different from what their initial response was, because if I recall correctly, people initially said we don't owe the community an apology. And now I feel like people have changed their opinions, have taken a good look at this and see the error in what happened there. And I don't think, again, this is something that was said, I think it was at the leadership meeting following that meeting at Jacoby. We don't lose anything by us, giving a simple apology. If that's all it takes, to bring about a little peace here, I think it's, okay to do that. That's it. Oh, and by the way, Hazel, who was it that forced the housing committee to have the meeting?
It was the person that had planned the meeting in the first place.
Does that person have a name?
Chairperson of the board at the time is the one who wanted it to happen. They're the ones that wanted this public hearing.
The chairperson and the co-chair?
The chairperson of the board at the time. They're the ones that made us.
Jeremy, let them know it wasn't me, please.
Yeah, it was not Al. I mean, do I have to say who it is? I think everybody should know at this point.
I don't know. I think just for clarity, so we're not like guessing, right? Let's just be clear. Transparency is good here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to appear to be throwing people under the bus, even though they're no longer a board member. So it was Yahe.
Thank you.
So Miguel still has this. Serena has her hand up. She's a member of the committee. You want to respond to that, Serena, or something?
No, I didn't want to respond to that. I just wanted to get back to I'm sorry, I do apologize. I'm looking through my notes to the calendar for a motion that I wanted to put forth for next week's full board meeting. So I can wait, but before we move forward, I just wanted to say that.
Okay, so old business maybe. Miguel still has his
No,
hand
it's
up.
actually new business, but
Oh, okay.
okay.
Does Miguel still want to speak, or?
Yeah, I'm here. I just wanted to remind everyone that the borough president was not at the Just Homes meeting, but her office apologized. And I think that we should take that as a good example. So as far as legality goes, we're probably okay if she apologized. And secondly, again, I mean, I think it's really splitting hairs. It was something that happened that I don't think anybody, I mean, I think the majority of people will agree that we should apologize as a board. I don't think it hurts anybody. And nobody's making it, you know, no one's making anybody personally apologize for anything. And I had something else, but I forgot.
That's a good point. I just want a point of order clarification because I see some of the stuff in the chat. So the chairperson of the board they can call forth a public hearing at any time, according to the bylaws. And whether or not they want to make it mandatory to the board or not, it's a different story. In this case, they did not make it mandatory attendance, but they have that authority in our bylaws to call for a public hearing without approval of the board or anybody else.
If there's nothing else, Jeremy, we may get out of here to watch the rest of the Yankee game.
Well, so there's no more gallery, so then old business, new business?
Jeremy, all right, Serena, you want to make a motion, and
Well, do you have old business, Sandy?
Oh, no.
Serena had something, remember, she wanted to
Yes,
mention.
I know, but old business technically should be first. She said it's new business. So if there's no old business, Serena, you got new business?
Yes, but did Sandy say her? Okay, so, all right, so I want to put forth a motion, for next, week's board meeting. Everybody, happy Pride. June is upon us. And so I'd love, to put forth for a full board approval to fly the Pride flag, in front of or outside of the CB11 office. We have received support from the Morris Park, Avenue bid. And so, it's important for us to vote next week because Pride starts June 1st, and we'd love to have the flag flown from June 1st through June 30th. And so you can put that under my committee, agenda line item for full board approval or vote. Thank you.
Well, do you want to make a motion now?
Yes,
Or?
yes. I said I wanted to put forth a motion now, and then hopefully I guess I put the cart before the horse. I thought I was gonna get everybody was gonna be like, yay, and then we could then bring it to the full board. But I want to put forth a motion now for that.
So okay, so let's just clarify location because there's a corner, there's a utility pole with flag poles, right? Or flags, brackets, but I don't know about if that makes sense to put that there. Maybe it makes more sense to put something in front of the office. But then again, that's up to the committee here.
I'd like it in front of the office, and not me, like, I'm not saying in front of the office, but I think it would be fantastic. And so, yeah.
So Naomi, you want to chime in on this issue or you had something else?
I have something else.
Okay. All right. I know Cindy is not a member of the committee, but she does have her hand raised. I don't know if we
Let Cindy speak. She's a board member.
Cynthia.
So
I just wanted to urge the people on the committee to seriously consider acknowledging our ally brothers, sisters, children, grandchildren for Pride Month. It's a small gesture, and it's the least we can do. Thank you.
Can I second it, Jeremy, or I'll do that or no?
I think it was seconded by Miguel, wasn't it?
Well, Miguel's not on the committee, so he can't second.
Oh yeah, he can't. Yeah, but yeah, I think you can, but I don't think you can vote. Serena's here.
My vote's represented.
So,
All we need is a second, right?
yeah. Well, then it's discussion, which is what we're doing now. I know Sandy's hand was up. Sandy?
Yes, at our meeting this month, we had the nurses come from the Nurse Family Partnership Program at Montefiore. And they're saying that the program is going to be discontinued because Montefiore will no longer fund it because they may have forgotten to ask for a request. And it's
But
and we
that's not related to the motion that was made, right?
no. So I
Okay,
just
so can we
okay.
straighten that out first and then come to, I mean,
All right.
you did vote, did you vote on in that committee?
We said we were going to ask. Yes, we thought a motion would be ideal, that we would write a letter of recommendation.
Okay,
And
so
when
then you didn't make, okay, all right, so back to Serena's motion. So
I think Ken had his hand up. I'm not sure. Is
Ken, you want to respond to this topic?
No, I just like to know what the exact wording of the motion was, because I understand that we're not voting on anything today. All they're doing is bringing the motion to the full board.
Well, it's a recommendation. You vote here and it goes to the full board, right? That's.
Wait, are we voting in favor of this motion? Are we voting whether to recommend?
Well,
in
a
favor of this
motion's been made
or
by,
just-
a motion's been made. We're open for discussion and then we can vote.
That's why I'd like to know what the wording of the motion is, because that I'm not certain about.
Yeah, so I think, Serena, you want to restate it or do you want me to?
So, in observance of Pride Month 2023. See, I'm just trying to find my words. We would like, CB11 will be flying the Pride flag outside of its office in support of our allies and advocates and LGBTQIA members.
From June
Community
1st
members.
till
I think before we vote on something like that, I think we should first find out from the city, from the borough president's office, if that's allowed. I mean, I don't know if you can fly any other flag outside a public building that doesn't belong to your American flag. I don't know. I think we ought to find that out so that we can make an informed decision.
Actually, I can share, and I do believe, and maybe Malcolm might be able to chime in on this a bit better. But I do believe that CB8 just passed this for next year, and so I think it's allowable. But
Okay.
we can, I can confirm that before we're
Yeah,
our full board.
they
Go ahead, Malcolm.
CB7 voted. Well, it's pretty much known. They voted to fly the flag at the memorial, the Veterans Memorial site. I think that might count as a public thing. So it's definitely possible. I believe it's really just in our purview as a community board to agree whether or not we want to fly it.
Yeah, and it's easy enough to find out from City Hall. I think Jeremy can make a phone call.
I think if we're going to do it in front of the office and put a bracket up, I just want to check with the buildings department. That's it.
I think we just have to check, because if
that's
it's CB7, I read that article, they put it in a location in the jurisdiction, but not in front of the building. So it does need to be, the question needs to have an answer, so that we're not.
We'll have
that
the
there's-
answer before next week's full board meeting.
So I'm sorry, but they decided not to put it at the memorial and to fly it in front of the CB7 office.
Oh,
This is pretty much what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay, so as long as they did it before in front of the office, that's fine.
So is there any other members of the committee? Can you still have your hand raised or no?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Are we having discussion on the motion or?
Yeah, we're still in
Still.
discussion.
Okay. I don't believe that we should fly any flags other than the American flag and possibly the flags of New York State and New York City. It ends up being taking a political stand, and you open up a Pandora's box saying, why are you doing this one and not the other one? I think it's wrong to do any of them. Thank you.
So Naomi, are you still waiting for new business or other business? Or Al, you have your hand up still too.
Go ahead, Al.
Hand, I don't see a hand.
Yeah, never mind. He put it down.
I took it down.
It disappeared. It disappeared.
So
Yeah, I'm coming back around. I'm trying to get a consensus on what we're going to present to the full board on what I presented today.
okay, so I think Cynthia and Miguel probably have their hands up in regards to the pride flag issue. No, I don't know if,
Yeah, I think so. I think
I mean, Miguel, for what's worth, is our only LGBTQ member, or at least openly LGBTQ member here. So maybe we can give him a chance to speak on the issue.
yes.
Miguel, you're muted.
You still
Hi.
muted.
Obviously, this is something very near and dear to my heart, and I know for community board members, I am the only one, but I know that many members have children that are represented by that particular flag. I don't see it as a political thing. It's a celebration thing. And it's an acknowledgement of a previously very, very underrepresented community. And also for what it's worth, if it couldn't go outside, couldn't it go in the window?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Miguel. Because the only reason, the thing is, you do have to really check with the buildings department as far as banners are concerned. As an architect, I'm not sure 100%. I'm not really sure. I'll do some research. I'll call one of the commissioners that I do know at the Bronx Buildings Department. I'll ask him that question. But I know they don't have issues with you putting any posting on your storefront. But as far as flying a flag outside, the height and the restrictions may be an issue. I'm not sure, Serena. I'm not downplaying this, but I'll double check for you with the buildings department. I have someone that I know there. I'll ask them about that. If you have to get any, I know others have done it. Maybe I don't know if it's legal or not legal.
Well, I mean, we fly flags everywhere outside of buildings all the time, including the American.
But sometimes they have to get a permit to do it.
So if you would find that out, that would be great. I'll contact, I'll do my due diligence over here.
If you want to, I can give you the name of the person. Maybe you can.
I can reach out. I can reach out.
That's right. That's right. Jeremy knows the same person I know.
Yeah,
Okay.
can I just jump in here a minute? You also.
Well, hold on. Malcolm had his hand up first.
Oh,
and then Ken, and then Hazel.
Yeah. So a pride flag isn't political, right? It's not like it's not like there's asked to flag the Republican flag or the Democrat flag or the Green Party flag, right? The pride flag is just pretty much recognizing the humanity of those in the LGBTQ plus IA plus community who have been dehumanized historically. That's all it is. You know what I mean? And if last time I checked, that's part of what the American flag and what our democracy stands for. So, I mean, to say that a pride flag is political is pretty, that's insane. And the fact that it has to be considered political just speaks to why we should press to have and recognize the representation that's out there. I think it's time that we just dismissify that type of rhetoric. It has to stop.
So Ken, before you say something, I just want to make sure everybody's clear. So if you've been to the community board office, there's a big decal on the window. The reason, and if you've been with us long enough, you know that that's a recent addition because our landlord got fined $15,000. Well, $5,000 for each storefront. One of them was ours for we had a lit up electrical billboard, so to speak. So he got fined for that. I think the city has since amended those laws because they're a little too draconian, maybe. But still, I don't want to poo-poo the idea. I just, we can easily get a decal, put it in the window.
Jeremy,
But
very simply, just make a phone call tomorrow to the Borough President's office, find out if it's allowed. If it's allowed,
I'll call DOB. Department of Buildings is the one that issues those violations or regulates this stuff. So
That's what I'm
just,
trying to
just
say.
clear, so you're clear on the history on this is a real issue.
just let's
Our
make
landlord
sure,
got fined.
let's
That's
make
what
sure
I'm trying
we
to say
do
to
it
everyone
before
as,
we do it,
as,
that's
a,
all.
as an architect. I know some of these things, so I'm just that's why I'm bringing it up. That's all.
Yeah, I just want to vouch for you. Go ahead, Ken.
If we're going, all I'm saying is that if we're going to do this flag, then where do we draw the line? Then we're gonna have to allow every other flag of any other group that wants it. Either we do none or we do all.
Well, look, as long as the flag is the representative of something that is harming and killing people, then I guess we draw the line there. But I see no harm in people that are on a pride flag, as long as the flag. Listen, Ken, hold on. As long as
Hold on, Malcolm. Let's go to Hazel versus the back and
Malcolm,
forth.
all I'm saying is that
Yeah.
if we do one, we're gonna have to allow all.
We
Okay,
have
go
to
ahead. Let's
vote
go
on
to
it all.
Hazel. She had her hand up. Let's take turns. Hazel.
Okay, so what I was gonna say is, before you do anything, you need to contact the landlord, because that's still the landlord's property. And you
Well,
can't,
landlord, he's last time I spoke to him, he's okay with it.
he is,
It's
okay.
really,
But you can't
I-
really do anything to a facade without the landlord's
yeah,
permission,
it's
regardless
more,
of what
it's
anybody
it's
says.
more of I don't want to give him a violation again.
Yeah, so you need to check, make sure it's okay with him. That's all I wanted to
Okay.
say.
We have more people in the gallery raising their hand. Do we want to continue the discussion? Do we just want to vote?
All right, I'm
discussion.
sorry, guys, but I have a really, really hectic day tomorrow morning. So I have to leave.
Okay.
All
Good
right.
night, and to all of those that are coming to the 49 Precinct Breakfast, I will see you there. Thank you. Good night.
See you tomorrow, Hazel.
Go there, Ken. Go.
Okay.
So, oral, we do have members.
I think the discussion should be just among board members at this point, since it's a motion made. But I think,
You
again,
mean committee members or board members? Because there's a
committee
difference.
committee
Okay.
members. I think, first of all, let's find out if it's okay. If it's okay with downtown, then we can vote on it. It's not a big deal. It's just, it has to be okay. No sense voting on it and then them telling us we can't do it.
But my concern is that if we don't vote on it today, well, we put the motion forth, right? And so then next week we'll vote on it. So by that time, we'll have all the answers. I just wanted to make
Right.
sure that we were in time because, time is against us.
Let's vote with the condition that it's allowable, legally allowed.
I second that.
Yeah, that's what Serena's saying, to vote on it, and then we'll find out, and then it'll go in front of the board. Well,
I agree.
which way it goes. Okay.
So
I
just
have
to
a
clear.
question. I just have a quick question.
Yeah,
Is
V.
there a poll already up that to use it, or what's the cost going to be to actually have this put up? I'm not opposed to it, just so I'm just as treasurer, I need to know. I would like to know what the cost of putting this up would be.
So the flag is being donated by the bid. And so if there's a pole, then we can hang it and we can fly it with permission.
Well, we
obviously.
got the issue is just really drilling the bracket into the facade
Right.
of the
And
building.
so there isn't one.
That's as far as I remember seeing that facade.
We'll find a way of getting it done. The bid will pay for it, I'm sure. So just let's vote on this thing.
It'll be just a bracket anchored into the masonry, and then you can put the pole there and you fly it there. But
So just
you
to
have to find out if you're allowed to put that on the masonry sticking out of the sidewalk. They may tell you you can do it, but you have to have the permit because it has to be a certain height above, so no one passes by and hits it. So there's some rules to the height that it has to be. It's someone has a cane or is blind and it's sticking out, so it has to be a certain height. So that's what they may tell me from what I understand from before. So we'll see. Okay. We'll find out.
So I know Ken's a stickler for details. So just to restate the motion, if you want to do it, Serena, or you want me to, I mean, it's just we're making a motion that Community Board 11 raise the pride flag in front of the Community Board 11 office, as long as it is permissible or as long as it's legal with the Department of Buildings, or right? That's
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Is that okay for you, Ken? Is that motion clear enough?
For the month of
Yeah,
June.
it's clear enough.
That's fine.
Yeah, for the month of June.
For the month of June, from the 1st to the 30th, yes.
And if it's allowed, you know, we can put up the Italian flag, you know.
And if it's
Armenian
allowed,
flag and whatever.
and if it's allowed, we can vote on all the flags and, you know, move forward.
Well, we don't have to vote on them. We could just put them up, right? Do we
I
have
mean,
to
put
vote
the
on 'em?
motion, well, no, I don't, well, since I don't think so, because we can't put up the flag right now.
I think you still have to vote on it.
Right.
Well, no, once we vote on it this one time, I mean, going forward, then we can just do whatever flags, as long as, you know.
Well, I don't know about whatever flag, because I think it's contingent upon what is, well, I don't know, you know,
Yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah,
I
okay.
think we can do whatever flag. Can you just
All right.
come on?
As long as it's not harming somebody. All right.
Oh, it can't be whatever flag.
Yeah, no, within reason, okay? We're not going to put up
Yes.
ISIS's flag or something, okay?
No, Malcolm said whatever flag. It can't be whatever.
The
No.
Italian
It's an ISIS
flag, the
flag,
Albanian flag,
flag.
right? Things like that.
It
This
can't
is-
be
this
whatever.
is
There's
the
some
flag
flags
is-
that you don't want up
all of
there.
it.
There's some
This
flags
is-
that
As long as it's not hurting nobody. please.
This flag is non-denominational. It goes across
Yes.
ethnic group. It goes
some
across
flags you definitely don't want up there, like the flags that you see in the South, Malcolm.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, of course.
We're going to run out of room on the flagpole with the way we're
Of
going.
course.
No, only one flag at a time. How about that?
Yes.
We don't
All right.
have the American flag out of the RO office, so.
We should probably have both, but yeah.
All right, let's do
That'd be
it.
great. Maybe we can do both. Ask for like, well, yeah.
All right. So is anybody against or abstaining?
I'm against it for the reason that I've stated before.
Okay. One against.
I'm abstaining.
Bernard's abstaining. Other than that, motion carries. Al?
Yep.
All right. So two, yeah. One against, one abstaining. Okay. Can we go to Naomi now? No?
I just want to know, like, what the motion is going to be for us to present in front of the board.
Talking about the apology?
Yes.
A motion that a letter of apology be sent by the board to the people who were, I guess, harassed at the board meeting at Jacoby, something like that.
Negatively affected.
Well, how about just an apology to everybody who was at that hearing? Just
No,
blanket.
there's some people that don't deserve an apology.
Yeah,
People
no,
that
I know,
carry
I know.
on, They don't deserve an apology.
But
It
how
was
do you
the-
parse those
It
people
was
out?
basically, well, I spoke to the people from Fortune myself, and I apologized to them, and I asked them if they wanted more time to respond. At that point, they didn't. I don't blame them. I think they should get a letter. I think also the people that got up in front of the crowd and were not allowed to speak. I think Roxanne was one. I think Diane was another. I
most
think
of the
there were
people
about-
are in favor of the
I think there were
project.
about four. I think there were about four, if I remember right.
Yeah, Diana Finch. Yeah, was one of them too.
Michael Kett.
Yeah.
I don't think Michael spoke.
No, but he was
He was accosted. He was threatened to be punched in the face.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was standing next to me more than
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want an apology.
And then somebody threatened to give him COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't want an apology, we only issue apologies to those who are interested, I guess.
Do you
had
really want to do
discussed-
that individual wise? Why don't you
Maybe I
just
should get an apology. Two people threatened to fight with me.
Okay, so at the ethics committee, we had talked about a general apology to everyone who attended. That way, whoever signed up and whoever was there for Just Homes, we send them an apology letter. No one is picked out personally to get an apology or to apologize. It was just, to send a general apology letter about how the meeting went, how it was conducted. And that way it goes to everybody. So no one is missed. Anyone who signed in gets the apology. Some people may not have been opposed to it. Some people may have been opposed to it, but there were a lot of people there that had to deal with the situations. So I think sending it out to everyone that attended is the right way to do it. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
I agree with Veronica.
I
Thank you,
agree.
Veronica.
Yeah, you're probably right, Veronica.
Okay, so then the motion is to send a letter of apology to those who attended the Just Home public hearing in September 2022. An apology from Community Board 11 on how that event played out and should not have happened, basically.
But it should also be from those from those who attended, not the full board, because there are a lot of people from the boards that was not there, as we mentioned before. I don't, I think it should be made specific that those who were there, who were at the board, that were there, whether it should be from the members that in attendance.
I think as a board, we're supposed to join together as a board, but I was there as a board member. If you want to send it for me, I don't care, as long as the apology gets out, because people are owed an apology.
I think it should be sent from the entire board. We're all, basically to blame. I mean, it was forced on Hazel, and it's not fair to put the heat on Hazel.
Yeah, I think the entire board too. Also,
What are we voting on? What are we voting on right now?
Hi, can I say something real quick here?
Sure.
Okay.
So, I was not there, and I have no problem, being part of the apology to everybody who was there and witnessed this thing, whether it was, on video later on. It doesn't matter. Like, a public statement is okay too. Is it not? I mean, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I have no problem with that. That's fine.
I'm fine with that too. I'm fine with a general apology.
That's very simple.
I think Harry wants to say something.
Oh, that's Harry.
He's not a member of the committee. I mean, well, then Christine just spoke. Never mind. Go ahead, Harry. Sorry.
Harry?
Harry?
I'm not apologizing. I was there acting like a human being. I'm not apologizing.
That was Harry?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to vote for the motion when it comes time to the full board.
That's not the point. The point is that I'm on the board too. So why am I apologizing for something that I have nothing to do with? I was there to listen and learn. I didn't
It's not you necessarily. It depends on how the vote goes next week. The board.
Know who was egging on the crowd. So whoever was egging on the crowd, they're the one that should be apologizing, not us.
Point taken.
None of the board members were egging on the crowd.
It's okay, Phyllis.
But they need to do the video then,
Please,
because
we can
from
stop.
what I heard, it was discussed. It was a circus. We're embarrassed for it.
Okay, so as I stated at the beginning of what I was talking about, if you do not feel that you want to vote on this, you can recuse yourself or abstain. Okay? That's the great thing about democracy. You don't have to vote.
Yeah, I understand, but if they're gonna send a letter of apology, put everybody's name on it.
Yeah, but you are if we're voting on it and you publicly say you abstain, that's made public.
Yeah, that's how it goes. When we send out generally speaking, when we send out a recommendation from the board, we say, I mean, we can sometimes we explicitly state, because they sometimes, like, if it's it depends on the issue. If it's a land use application, they want to know why certain people didn't vote for this or that. So we can include that like we would any other vote by the board. Does that make sense, Harry? I mean, unfortunately, if the board just goes this way, I don't know what to tell you. Doesn't mean it will. I can't hear you, Harry.
You ain't guilty by association?
Yeah, well, so he's going to state his objection, but the committee right now. So the motion is send a letter of apology to those in attendance. General apology. So who made that motion? Was that Naomi? Who made it?
Yes.
And who seconded it? Who was on the committee?
I'll second it.
Okay.
So Veronica seconds it. Anybody against or abstaining that's on the committee? This will go to the full board for a vote on Tuesday.
I'm
Serena?
abstaining.
I just
Burnette's abstaining. Go ahead, Serena.
This is all hard for me because yes, an apology is owed. Absolutely. And a lot of times I come across whether it's an opinion piece or an article or something of that nature that lumps, although we want to believe and I work in this way that we are a unit and we're supposed to be a unit, not all of us are of the same mind. But when we're putting forth an apology, I do believe they need an apology, the community needs an apology. I just feel like this was my first, I was here probably 30 days when all of this happened. I knew nothing about any of this. And I understand that we all, so I guess that's what I want to say. Does the community deserve an apology? Yes. Even though I just want, I guess, put on record, I wasn't even privy to any of this and all of this happened. So I am going to vote yes.
But
Okay?
you can also recuse yourself.
Yes, but
because
then
you
the
weren't there.
letter that's gonna go out is going to say, it's gonna show, it's not gonna say Serena or, she abstained or she recused herself and the why behind it. Do you know what I mean? And so
you.
I just
hear you, but-
wanted to state the why. And I do understand an apology is needed, but
Right.
for some of us, being lumped in situations that, it
I
just
hear you.
doesn't seem so fair. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Serena, I think we all feel the same way. I think even the people that were there feel the same way. It was just something that was out of control, and there was nothing that was gonna be done at that time. Again, what Bernadette said earlier, next time you learn, you should have shut off the microphone and said, that's it, everybody go home. But again, hindsight is 20/20. But there was no controlling, the crowd was just unruly. I mean, I was accosted by two people that wanted to go to war over, they, were yelling that I was getting paid by health and hospitals because I was asking them to be quiet. So, again, and please, Hazel tried the best she could under the circumstances.
Yeah.
There was nothing she could have done to make that better. There was not enough security in the place. It was just not, it was just a bad situation, period.
But
So is
guys,
anybody abstaining or voting against the motion besides Bernadette?
Jeremy, since there's so much hesitation from the board members, especially for the new ones that weren't present, why has to be an apology instead of a statement? And it has to be a statement based on technicalities, meaning that, because of the technicalities, we didn't have a stronghold of whatever happened. That's about it. Make a statement. Why you have to make apologies since a lot of people are hesitant? And
Apology is because we called the meeting. Community Board 11 called the meeting.
But hold on, that's what I'm saying. So you don't apologize. You say that you got unruly, you got out of hand, and it was nothing could be done instead of an apology. And first you say an apology to the community. The funny part is that they were the community. They were the people that represented the community in the area. So they were the majority. Now, if we're talking about democracy, they were like everybody except 7 or 8 people that were speaking against. So we're talking 150 against 7. So democratically, who are you going to apologize to? So make a statement that we as a board lost control, and we're going to see for the future, whenever a meeting or something like this is going to happen, we're going to do a better job. That's it.
I think that the board should vote on whether we want to apologize or not and move forward.
Yeah, well, we got started in committee, so anybody else abstaining or voting against? Al? Otherwise it passes.
That's it. I think we ought to go on. Take a vote to move it on to the full board, and let's go.
Okay, so that'll be added to the agenda. Just remind me, in case I forget, everybody, whether it's the pride flag or the or this motion we just voted on.
Yeah. So remember that this motion that we're voting on, a lot of people, everyone has raised some very, very, very good points. I definitely understand Serena's point of view. And as everyone is talking, I'm beginning to think about it, that it can be some issues with an apology with certain people out there. I'm not sure what can happen. I know the borough president's office apologized, but they should, right? Because they're representing. But we, on the other hand, were had no control of that meeting. I was there with my wife just to see what was going on, and it was out of control. And no one could contain that crowd. They really couldn't contain that crowd. It was just incredibly outrageous if you were there. I know some people were not there. And will some people hold it against us if we say something about it? I'm not sure.
So I think Al said it
let's think
already.
about it. Yeah.
Al said we should, in hindsight, we should just shut it down from the get-go. We should have stopped it right
No,
away.
Diane, I wasn't asked to be there as Sergeant of Arms. I came there with my wife. I heard about it. I lived nearby, so I walked over.
Okay. All right. Any other old business, new business now?
I had one
Yeah.
thing
Oh, yeah,
I
the
wanted
motion.
to ask.
Sure, Sandy, I'm gonna miss that Yankee game on account of you, but go ahead.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna make it
I'm
fast.
I'm joking,
All I
Sandy.
need is a letter of support sent to Montefiore telling them that we are in favor of the Nurse Family Partnership Program, and it should not be dismantled because they were delayed in getting funding. And we could also send a letter of recommendation or support to our council person,
Yes.
asking them for their support. That is the program is superb. And for $800,000, I don't think Montefiore should do away with it because they didn't get their funding.
Absolutely
Millions.
right, Sandy.
Totally agree.
Can
So I
someone,
want that letter that we recommend, or give our support to keeping the Nurse Family Partnership Program viable.
I second.
Jeremy,
Thank
can I ask a question, please?
We have two people with their hands
Yeah,
up.
so Sandy made a motion, Oral seconded it, open for discussion.
Thank you all.
April?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, is there a letter that someone can send so this can be presented to Montefiore?
We want to send it to Montefiore and also maybe get some politicians involved because they may be involved in the funding. But for Montefiore to do away with the program because they were delayed or whatever to get $800,000 when their executives get millions is beyond me.
Can we have someone from Montefiore comes on?
The nurses from
The nurses came on to talk about
Yeah, but
it.
I'm talking about someone from Montefiore to represent.
No, someone from Montefiore was not at our meeting.
That's what I said. Would you like someone so they can hear your concern?
Well, then I think that maybe, yeah, but I don't know when we would be able to do it.
I just asked a question. Would you like someone from Montefiore to come to hear your concern?
I guess it's so. Yeah, I guess we
It
could
has
do
to be
that.
somebody
But I
from-
still would like the letter of support.
Okay.
Did they send anything, I think, to make things easy? I think kind of what April would help April. Did they have anything in writing that they submitted to you? I'm sure they're doing a
No, they were
campaign or
just talking about what was going on and what they were told by the administrators of Montefiore not to accept new patients or new mothers to be because they want the program to wind down.
Can we get that from them in writing? That's what I'm saying.
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
I thought you
Yes,
asked the administrator.
Sandy, if you get something from them in writing, then we can vote on that.
I mean, it's easier that way,
Yeah.
All righty. I'll try to contact someone who was involved.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I misunderstood April.
No problem.
So do you want to still go through the motion or do you want to withdraw?
No,
wait
I
till you
want to
get some-
go through the motion even before.
Okay, so restate it for us, please, then.
I want a motion that a letter of support be sent to Montefiore supporting the Nurse Family Partnership Program.
I second.
Well, yeah, Oral seconded it before, but yeah,
second.
whatever.
Right, and if you see the minutes from our meeting, you'll find out what an excellent program it is.
So is anybody voting against or abstaining? That's what we really need to know. Anybody? If not, it's gonna be unanimous. All right, we love our nurses.
Thank
right?
you.
Hey,
Any other-
Jeremy, quick question. When this comes to the full board, I can recuse myself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, if you have a conflict of interest, that's the only time.
Malcolm, do you work for Montefiore?
Yeah, I do. So I have a conflict of interest. Right.
All right, I didn't know which hospital. Now we know what hospital you work for.
Now I know where you work, Malcolm.
Don't come
Right.
here. Don't come here.
Malcolm, and if you don't know about the program, check it out. It's an excellent program helping young women of color and going through their pregnancy and for 2 years after.
I'll
So
definitely check.
Sandra, I thank you so much for this. I never heard. I just learned. And as the chair for Montefiore Advisory Board, I would really like you to send me something so I could present this to our next meeting.
Well, I'll try to get something from the group that came to us to speak.
Thank you.
I don't know if they have anything in writing, but we'll try. All right, now we'll let Al go watch his Yankee game, and so will I.
I make a motion, we adjourn. Anybody who says.
I
no,
seconded.
Do we have new stuff? New stuff from we went over the new things already.
We still have somebody with their hand up.
No,
Well,
I think
Chrissy's not a member of the
Serena, you had a
committee.
new thing, right? Serena, or you went over it already?
No, we went over that. We're all good.
Okay, good. All right. I didn't remember.
Motion to adjourn.
I seconded Al. You'll be
Thank
happy.
you, Sandy.
Bye-bye.
What about
So
me? I said two.
Anybody
Me
opposed?
four.
is in trouble.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Hope
night.
you
Please
ended at
come here
9:02.
tomorrow at the precinct breakfast. Join us.
Yes.
Send us
I-
an invite.